Lauren Matthias is a journalist who's closely followed this case. She's the host of the Hidden True Crime podcast on YouTube channel. I'm also joined by retired FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer, a NewsNation law and justice contributor. Thank you both for being with us. Jennifer, Rebecca Haro has now stopped cooperating with police after these inconsistencies emerged in her story, according to police. She said, as I just said with our other guest, that she was at her son's football game. She left with the baby. She told police to go to the store. Nobody at the football game ever saw the baby. She also said she got a black eye when she was hit by the abductor. But now there are reports she may have had that black eye for many days, even weeks prior to this alleged attack.
Right, exactly. Her statement had so many holes, Elizabeth. Whenever you look at somebody who's making a statement like this, you look at a linear track. Does it make sense in terms of the time frame that she's giving? And it doesn't. It's all over the place. As she states items, it's as if she's making them up. That black eye is not a recent black eye. Speaking as a tactical medic, that is a healing black eye from some time ago. She spoke of baby Haro in the past tense. And by the way, Elizabeth, when is the last time anybody has seen Emmanuel?
That's a good question. Lauren, how quickly did her story fall apart, and how quickly did suspicion turn possibly to her from police? We just heard from people in the community, but what about police?
I think that there were eyes on this family for quite some time. As you mentioned, there were these charges that the family has. Their stories were not the same. Both the father and the mother, their stories change. In one story, she's saying that she got hit from behind after hearing Ola. And then in another story, she's saying that she received the black eye after being hit in the front. Things got very confusing. And on social media, when people started discussing this, especially those that are local and those further away, as the story started to spread, people were comparing notes and sharing different interviews with the different media outlets and pointing out these inconsistencies. And so I can only imagine that the law enforcement was a lot more tight-lipped than, comments on social media. But from comments on social media, I imagine that law enforcement was right there as well, wondering and comparing the inconsistencies.
And then, Jennifer, we have these really disturbing this criminal history from the baby's father, Jake Haro, who was found guilty of felony child cruelty along with his, not this current wife, Rebecca, but his previous wife. They had a 10-week-old daughter who suffered terrible injuries, including acute rib fracture, 6 healing rib fractures, skull fracture, brain hemorrhage, swelling of the neck, and a healing leg fracture. Jake told authorities he had dropped the baby while bathing her and then proceeded to blame his then-wife for the rest of the injuries. Those injuries were on a 10-week-old baby.
Right, exactly, Elizabeth. And when you look at somebody who has that sort of a history, that tends to follow patterns. People don't just stop abusing their children, and typically people who don't abuse their children all of a sudden abuse their children. Those injuries were in various stages of healing. I think this is a very cruel and vicious person that could do such damage to a young infant.
To a 10-week-old. We don't know what happened in the case of the 7-month-old. Lauren, Jake and Rebecca Haro have a 2-year-old son and another older son. Do we know what's happened to them as this investigation goes forward?
Child Protective Services has stepped in. And so you can only imagine if this alleged kidnapping, Elizabeth, is true. Can you imagine that not only are they looking for their 7-month-old, they're also grieving now children that are no longer with them because CPS has stepped in. And so, I mean, and none of us know, right? Only law enforcement will be able to tell us in the end. And so I think, though, that also looks suspicious. And as Jennifer pointed out, this past charge does not look good. And the fact that CPS has now stepped in is very, very concerning.
But also those children might be witnesses, especially not the 2-year-old, but the older child.
Absolutely. And again, we don't know when the last time anyone saw Emmanuel, baby Emmanuel, right? If he wasn't at the football practice, when was the last time anyone saw him? And if those children saw something, they could be able to tell us when the last time anyone saw baby Emmanuel.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.